Have you ever felt lost in the noise of life, distracted, overwhelmed, or unsure of your next step? What if I told you that the secret to true success isn't working harder, talking louder, or chasing more, but in staying silent, focusing on yourself, and letting your actions speak? Today, we're diving into 7 powerful lessons from Mufti Menk. Lessons that can completely transform your mindset, your faith, and your life. By the end of this video, you'll discover how to unlock your inner strength, stay patient in trials, grow your knowledge, and leave a legacy that matters, all by mastering the art of focus, discipline, and sincerity. If you're ready to level up your life, stay with me, because this is the message you cannot afford to ignore. 1. The power of silence. Have you ever noticed how the loudest people aren't always the wisest? Mufti Menk teaches us that true strength lies not in constant speech or noise, but in silence. Silence is where reflection happens. Silence is where clarity is born. When you stop talking, you start listening, not just to others, but to yourself. You notice your thoughts, your intentions, the patterns of your life that often go unnoticed. In a world obsessed with noise, distraction, and instant reactions, choosing silence is a radical act. It is choosing control over chaos, choosing action over reaction. Mufti Menk emphasizes that our tongues are powerful tools and every word carries weight. Speaking without thought can drain energy, create misunderstandings, and pull you away from your goals. But silence refines your mind. Silence strengthens your focus. Silence allows you to observe, learn, and plan without the interference of unnecessary chatter. This is why he says, staying silent is not weakness. It is a sign of inner power and discipline. The more you master silence, the more you master your life. You become someone who doesn't react impulsively, someone who moves with purpose, and someone whose actions speak louder than words ever could. So today, try this. Find moments to stay silent intentionally, not because you must, but because you understand that in silence lies your power, your clarity, and your connection with Allah. The world may push you to noise, but the wise know silence is where you truly level up. 2. Focus on yourself. Too often, we waste our energy comparing ourselves to others, measuring our worth by someone else's achievements, possessions, or lifestyle. Mufti Menk reminds us that true growth begins when you stop looking outward and start looking inward. Your journey is yours alone. When you focus on yourself, you reclaim your energy, you stop getting distracted by the success or failures of others, and start noticing your own progress, no matter how small. Every step you take, every small improvement compounds over time. This is how real change happens. Quietly, steadily, without the need for approval or recognition. Mufti Menk teaches that comparison is a trap. It blinds you to your blessings and keeps you chasing illusions. Instead, direct your focus inward, your thoughts, your intentions, your actions, and your connection with Allah. Ask yourself, am I improving today? Am I learning today? Am I becoming the person I am meant to be? Focusing on yourself doesn't mean ignoring the world. It means mastering your own life first, so that when the time comes, you can contribute meaningfully without being driven by envy or distraction. So start today. Silence the outside noise. Ignore the distractions. Invest in yourself, your knowledge, your faith, and your character. Because the moment you truly focus on yourself, you unlock a level of growth and peace that comparison can never give. 3. Consistency over intensity. Many of us believe that success comes from big, dramatic actions, the grand gestures, the long hours, the sudden bursts of effort. But Mufti Menk teaches us something far more powerful. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Imagine a tiny stream of water flowing over a rock. At first, it seems insignificant, it barely makes a mark. But over days, months, and years, that same stream carves the stone, shaping it, transforming it. This is the power of consistency. Small, steady actions repeated with sincerity and purpose will move mountains in your life. Mufti Menk emphasizes that Allah values sincerity more than showmanship. A single act done with consistency and full devotion pleases Him far more than many acts done carelessly or for appearances. It's not about the magnitude of what you do. It's about doing the right thing every day, even when no one is watching. So whether it's praying on time, helping someone quietly, or improving your character, it's the steady daily effort that counts. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for perfect circumstances. Start small, start now, and stay consistent. Remember this: consistency builds trust with Allah, with yourself, and with the life you are creating. Over time, your small faithful actions will compound into results you never imagined possible. Consistency is the hidden secret of the truly successful. 4. Gratitude changes perspective. How often do we find ourselves focusing on what we don't have rather than what we do? We live in a world that constantly tells us to want more, to chase after what's next, to measure ourselves against others. But Mufti Menk reminds us that true contentment and happiness begin with gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite word or a fleeting thought. It is a powerful practice that reshapes your mind, your heart, and your life. When you consciously acknowledge the blessings you already possess, your perspective changes. The things you once took for granted, waking up alive, having a roof over your head, being able to breathe, to think, to pray, suddenly feel like treasures. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. It allows you to see that your life is full of opportunities, kindness, and mercy, even in the smallest moments. Mufti Menk often explains that when we are ungrateful, we become restless. We are never satisfied. We constantly compare ourselves to others, and in doing so, we overlook the gifts that Allah has already placed in our lives. But when we cultivate gratitude, we experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that cannot be bought or measured. Our hearts become lighter and our actions become more purposeful. We start giving more, caring more, and loving more, because gratitude naturally extends beyond ourselves. Practicing gratitude is not difficult, but it requires intentionality. Every day, pause and ask yourself, what am I thankful for today? What blessings have I received that I often overlook? This simple act can transform the way you live. A life focused on gratitude is a life free from constant envy, fear, and dissatisfaction. It is a life where challenges are seen as lessons, setbacks as opportunities, and every small victory as a reason to praise Allah. Remember, gratitude is more than words. It is reflected in your actions, your patience, your kindness, and your attitude toward life. Mufti Menk emphasizes that those who are grateful in hardship are the truly strong, for they see beyond the immediate struggle and recognize Allah's wisdom in every situation. So start today. Shift your focus. Stop dwelling on what's missing and start celebrating what you already have. Train your heart to notice blessings, both big and small. Write them down, reflect on them. Let gratitude become the lens through which you view the world. When you do this, your life changes, not because circumstances have shifted, but because your mind and heart have awakened. Gratitude is the key that unlocks peace, contentment, and a perspective that sees beauty and potential even in the most ordinary moments. This is the secret that Mufti Menk teaches. When you are grateful, you are never truly empty and you will find joy in ways you never imagined. 5. Patience in trials. Life is not always easy. In fact, most of us will face moments that test our faith, challenge our resolve, and shake our very sense of security. Mufti Menk teaches us that these trials are not punishments, but opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to strengthen our character, and to draw closer to Allah. The key to navigating these moments is patience. And not just patience in the superficial sense, but a deep, unwavering trust in Allah's wisdom. Patience is often misunderstood. Many think it means simply waiting quietly until the storm passes. But true patience is more than that. It is the ability to endure hardship without complaint, to maintain hope when circumstances seem unbearable, and to continue striving for what is right even when everything in your heart and mind screams for immediate relief or revenge. Mufti Menk emphasizes that Allah does not burden any soul beyond what it can bear. Every difficulty you face has a purpose. even if you cannot see it at the moment. When we face trials, it is easy to feel forgotten or abandoned. We may ask ourselves, why me? Why is this happening? Yet, in these moments, patience is not passive, it is active. It requires faith, reflection, and action. Actions rooted in trust, humility, and perseverance. Every struggle is a test of character, a measure of our commitment to live righteously, and an invitation to seek Allah's guidance. Mufti Menk reminds us that those who remain patient are the ones who find ease after hardship, strength in weakness, and clarity amidst confusion. Consider the power of perspective. Trials are often disguised blessings. They teach you empathy, they refine your character, and they reveal your resilience. Without challenges, you may never discover your true potential, your capacity for endurance, or your ability to inspire others. Patience transforms adversity into opportunity. It turns suffering into wisdom. It converts frustration into gratitude. And it strengthens your faith in ways that comfort and ease never could. Mufti Menk also stresses that patience is not just for the big moments. It is equally vital in everyday life. Waiting for your prayers to be answered, dealing with difficult people, managing setbacks at work, or handling personal disappointments all require patience. Each instance is a chance to practice, to grow, and to strengthen your connection with Allah. When you face these challenges with patience, you align yourself with a divine principle that everything happens at the right time and for a reason, even if that reason is not immediately apparent. Patience is a discipline of the heart. It teaches you self-control, fortitude, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. It requires you to resist impulsive reactions, to avoid anger, and to embrace trust in Allah's plan. The more you practice patience, the more you notice its ripple effects in your life. Your relationships improve, your decisions become wiser, and your mind gains clarity. You begin to see that the storm is temporary, but the strength it builds in you is permanent. Mufti Menk often reminds us that Allah tests those He loves. Trials are not signs of weakness or divine displeasure. They are signs that you are being prepared for something greater. Every hardship you endure, every challenge you face is molding you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Patience allows you to move through life with dignity, grace, and faith rather than fear, resentment, or despair. So, how do you cultivate this patience? Start by accepting that some things are beyond your control. Trust in Allah's wisdom even when the path is unclear. Seek comfort in prayer, reflection, and supplication. Remind yourself that every trial has an endpoint and that perseverance will lead to growth. When difficulties arise, pause, breathe, reflect, and continue forward with resolve, knowing that your patience today is shaping your success tomorrow. In essence, Mufti Menk teaches that patience is not merely a response to hardship. It is a lifestyle, a mindset, and a spiritual discipline. Those who master patience are those who endure life's storms without losing hope, who turn setbacks into lessons, and who emerge stronger, wiser, and closer to Allah than they were before. It is through patience that the soul is strengthened, the heart is purified, and the believer discovers that every trial carries within it the seeds of a greater blessing. Remember this. When you face trials, do not despair, do not give up, do not act impulsively, stay patient, stay focused. Trust that Allah knows what is best and that every moment of endurance is preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. Patience is not easy, but it is powerful. It is the bridge between struggle and success, between despair and hope, and between difficulty and divine reward. 6. Seek knowledge daily. Knowledge is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess, yet it is also one of the most underutilized. Mufti Menk emphasizes that seeking knowledge is not just a duty, but a pathway to transformation for the mind, the heart, and the soul. Knowledge enlightens your thinking, strengthens your faith, and equips you to navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. Many people underestimate the impact of daily learning. They believe that big achievements come from occasional grand acts, reading one book a year, attending one lecture, or taking one course. But Mufti Menk reminds us that knowledge is built through consistency, reflection, and application. Every small effort counts. 15 minutes of reading, listening to a lecture, or reflecting on a teaching every day compounds over time. These small, deliberate steps gradually transform your understanding, your behavior, and your relationship with Allah. Seeking knowledge is not limited to books or formal education. It includes learning about yourself, your faith, your character, and the world around you. It means asking questions, being curious, and never settling for ignorance. Knowledge challenges complacency. It allows you to see beyond immediate appearances, to question assumptions, and to understand the deeper wisdom in life. Mufti Menk stresses that a person who stops learning is a person who stops growing, and growth, both spiritual and personal, is essential for a meaningful life. Islam places immense importance on knowledge. The very first revelation to Prophet Muhammad Fazl was read. Reading, learning, and understanding are fundamental acts of worship when done with sincerity. Mufti Menk points out that knowledge is not valuable if it remains in the mind alone. It must be applied in actions, shared with others, and reflected in character. A learned person who is arrogant or unkind loses the true benefit of knowledge. True knowledge transforms the soul, making a person humble, compassionate, and purposeful. Daily learning also protects the mind from confusion and misguidance. In a world filled with distractions, misinformation, and constant noise, knowledge acts as a shield. It allows you to distinguish between truth and falsehood, right and wrong, and helps you make decisions that align with your values and faith. Mufti Menk teaches that ignorance often leads to regret, poor choices, and wasted opportunities, whereas knowledge illuminates the path to success, peace, and fulfillment. The journey of seeking knowledge is also a spiritual journey. It strengthens your connection with Allah by deepening your understanding of His wisdom, His guidance, and the signs in creation. Every verse of the Quran you study, every hadith you reflect upon, and every lesson you internalize brings you closer to the divine. Knowledge becomes a source of patience in trials, gratitude in blessings, and discipline in actions. It equips you to face challenges with confidence, not fear, and to contribute positively to your community and family. Mufti Menk emphasizes that learning is not limited by age, status, or circumstance. You can begin at any time, no matter where you are in life. The key is commitment, dedicating yourself to learning something new every single day, no matter how small. Over time, these daily efforts accumulate, and you find that your mind is sharper, your heart is wiser, and your life is more aligned with purpose. Moreover, seeking knowledge daily fosters humility. You begin to realize how much there is to learn, how vast the world of understanding is, and how dependent you are on Allah's guidance. This humility strengthens character.